All right, what's going on, y'all? So, it's Panic here. I'm back with another lock. Um, I've already got the belt for this guy, so this obviously isn't a belt submission, but I wanted to do a pick and gut on it, and give some of my thoughts as far as how I picked it, as well as other things I've heard from the community on how to pick it. And I figured maybe this, could even be something I could share with some of the newer members of the community to give them some advice on this guy, because to me, this thing was tricky when I first got it. I've had some other one in particular, a black belt, tell me that they feel like this thing should be green. I don't really have an opinion on that because the guys that are making those calls have forgotten more locks than I've picked. So I'm not going to question their judgment on that one. As far as me personally, like purely my personal opinion, I feel like it's probably a solid blue. It took me a while, man. I was picking green locks a long time before I got this guy open. But I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe I had a hard one. Who knows? Because not all locks are the same, even by the same model, manufacturer, whatnot. But this is the Lockwood 334 B35. It is a 5-pin lock. It's loaded with spools. It has a very, very tight keyway. I'm going to try to get that close so you guys can see it. There you go. Now, the issue I had when I first started with this lock was if you look in the bottom right here, your line from that is not very big right in there. Your distance get to pick through there. So what a lot of guys like to do is they like to pick off this side warding right here. But my problem with that is that even with a shallow hook, this is my bitting that I've got, and that pin 3 and that pin 5, if I'm using a shallow hook, when I'm trying to set, let's see if I can get a good shot of this. When I'm trying to set that right there, you can see, I think, pretty clearly there, that's a good angle, that I'm getting in, I'm going to overset on 4, and same thing with 3. 3 barely clears it just with the angle you've got. That's pretty well your angle coming in the keyway right there. And this is actually more of a medium hook. It's not a short hook. This is one that I made a long time ago. It's made from spring steel, 1095 feeler gauge stock. Now 301 high yield is definitely a better pick, but 1095 is highly available. You can get it on Amazon at a reasonable price, and it does make a fine pick. I've had this one for a while. What I actually ended up doing with this thing is I took it down. It was 25 thousandths when I first made it. That was the size of the stock that it came from. And I don't know if you can you still kind of see them. Well, maybe not. This camera isn't clear enough to really see it, but you can actually kind of see the taper right in here in the neck where I took that down. I took a random orbit sander with some 60 grit paper, and I thinned this guy down to 15 thousandths. And then I took a knife honing stone. I sharpen my own knives. I took one of my knife honing stones and polished it up, give it a nice smooth finish. That way, it doesn't have sander marks when I'm dragging it in and out of the keyway. That has worked really well for me. This 15 thousandths pick on this keyway has been money. Like as soon as I made that 15 thousandths, this thing, it was a 9-day difference for me. Something else that I want to mention, I got it sitting here so I can show it to you guys. This Lawlock Tools, this is the Ridgeback set. This thing is available on their website for a limited time only. They are discontinuing it. This is a really, really nice set. It's got a load of profiles in it, rakes, deep hooks, these half diamond gem style. This is one of those ones that's made to rake and then into full set and single pin. It's got all kinds of different hook profiles. There's deep ones, there's short ones. It's got this big deep swept hook right here, No telling when you might need something like that, I figure. My only downside of this set is that it is 25 thousandths. I do have a couple other random things shoved in here. It's just stuff that I, carry with me. But my only downside of this set is it is 25 thousandths, and there are some locks, that 25 thousandths just doesn't agree with. But anytime you can be using 25 thousandths, I feel like you should be, because they are stronger, they're a little bit thicker. My Jimmy Long picks, I've been using for a couple of years. I love those picks. They are 19 thousandths, and they're fantastic. I haven't had any trouble with them at all, so don't take it like you need 25s. I made a tensioner earlier for this thing. just because I wanted to. I didn't really actually need it. I've got plenty of tensioners, but I had this. This is like what 78 thousandths, I think, music wire. I had it laying around, and I just bent it and then took it over to my anvil and hammered that flat on the end of it, and actually fits this thing fucking perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it. It fits in there like a glove. Gives you that little ergo turner feel. My first pin on this guy is going to be my first binder. Actually, kind of, this lock has a way of everything binding, really. But the feedback on this thing is just gorgeous. There's pin 1. I turn. In order to film this, I've actually got the camera in between me and the lock. So it's actually a little bit awkward. That felt like it overset. Let's try that again. I'm working on getting better camera setups, though. I'm going to turn this. I'm trying to keep it where you guys can see it, but I've also got to have enough room for my hands to get in here and work. So bear with me, guys. There's pin 1. That's binding. That was actually, I believe, 3. What do we got here? Picking out of the bottom of the keyway with this thing just feels really comfortable to me, though. Being able to fit in there with that 15 thousandths pick has worked really well for me. I posted something in the LPU Discord about doing this, though, with this pick, and all the guys were like, oh, I picked it with 20 thousandths, I picked it with 25 thousandths. They're like, oh, awesome, dude. I mean, they weren't jerks about it or anything. It just made me feel like an idiot, you know. There's pin 5. Did pin 5 just overset on me? What happened there? I lost my counter, my false set. Yeah, that was an overset. What do you say here? I went ahead and used a vise on this for this filming, which if this keeps fucking with me, I'm probably just going to toss the vise to the side, because I feel like you guys get a better view when I'm picking in a vise versus seeing the back of my hands. And you can actually see what my pick's doing. There we go. That was 5, nothing on 4. I think I just dropped something. I think I dropped 1. Yeah, 1's not set. There went 1. The counter rotation and feedback you get in this lock is just like, every pin is just, it counter rotates hard and then drops right in. The feedback's really pretty. I think that's why, you know, there are people who feel this lock should be green, is because the feedback is just absolutely crystal on this thing. It tells you exactly what you're doing, which makes it, you know, it's a great lock for somebody that wants to learn spools, for sure. It'll tell you what you're doing wrong. You know, if you go to pick a spool and you raise it up and you don't get your false set back, you either underset the spool or you overset the spool. You should be able to feel it, really, to tell you which one it is. And when you overset, when you get to the top, you get that super springy feel. You know, it feels like mush, like you're pushing your pick into a sponge. There we go. There went that one. It's just such an awkward angle with this camera right here. I've got to get me a better tripod. It would really help a lot if my camera was up top and I could give you guys like an overhead view. That would be ideal. So I am definitely going to hit up the old Amazon and see what I can do there, because I do plan on making more of these videos just for kicks, you know. You sit here and listen to a madman rant and pick locks. What this salty old fucker is doing today. There we go. Now we're getting headway. There's another one. I think pin 5 is all we lack. No, that was an overset on 5 again. Either that or we dropped something. I don't know, this lock can be weird about that. This last pin fuck with you sometimes. That's not 5. What's 1 doing? One is the only one though that I like to get to off that side warding like that, and then the rest of them I come up through the bottom. Is it pin 3? There's 3. There's 3. I went right down the bean row and set every pin, and then I think I overset 5 again, which is weird because the bitting on this thing, I got to reset it. The bitting on this thing, you know, or maybe I'm oversetting 4 when I'm trying to set 5. That's actually probably more likely because of that. I mean, pin 5 is that high cut. I bet I'm digging into 4 and oversetting it. I mean, I'd like to think I'm not, but, you know, stranger things have happened. Oh, by the way, I didn't say anything about my background over there. That's our 7-foot tall skeleton there. Happy Halloween, fuckers. My wife wanted that thing, and I was like, yeah, whatever, cool, you know. But we're going to find a place to put him out. I think she wants to prank some of her coworkers with it at some point, so it's probably going to end up going to work with her. But eventually, I don't know. I want to put it on our front porch, but we live in like a suburb, and, you know, I mean, it's not a bad neighborhood per se, but I'd be worried that if I didn't change it some might walk off with it, you know. Which I do have chains and obviously locks too, for that matter, but I don't know. We'll see what we end up doing with it. It was one of those things. It was funny. I like to make her happy. The thing wasn't cheap by most standards, but, you know, got to spoil them once in a while. Keep them around. I can't tell what's not set. I just went straight down the pins. Where that's set. There's, what's that, 3? Yeah. 4. Oh, I had an overset. That's why. Did you hear that drop? What overset? 1 does not feel set. There's 1. There's 2. Probably should have marked my pick, but I've been picking this thing without marking it, so it says just this angle is fucking with me. There we go. Where are we at here? That's 5, feels set. There's 4. 4 is just, there we go. Finally. God. Sorry about the wait on that, guys. It usually doesn't take me that long, but like I said, I've got my phone is like, my chest is right here behind my phone, and I'm like reaching around it like this to pick this lock. So it's a little bit awkward. Very soon to-do list is to get a better freaking camera tripod. So I'm actually going to move a couple of things around over here though, because you guys are kind of looking at an awkward angle. I don't want this lock to leave the frame, so I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to see if I can figure out, actually this pick case probably raise that up pretty good to get a more downward angle here. Maybe. Let's see what we can do. I've got, like, this setup is one of the most jank things you've ever seen in your life, I promise you. I need something flatter. This way. That's, no, that's actually like that, if I can get it to sit straight. Go. That's doable. Put it back just a little bit and turn it down over here so we can look at our pinning tools. Keep the lock in the frame. Oh, what did I forget here? What takes this guy apart? Let me grab a screwdriver. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. I meant to get this before I started, and I did not. This lock, I will say, is absolutely exquisitely made. Like, hats off to, I believe, the Aussies make these. Because it's bulky, it's heavy, you know, you can tell it's sturdy. I mean, it's brass, it's not steel, but, you know, I mean, it's got a good thick case on it. The shackle looks strong. I mean, it's probably, what, 5/16, almost 3/8 of an inch thick, somewhere in that neighborhood. I would say if there were any point of weakness in this lock, it's probably this guy right here. You know, I mean, I don't know how we. I don't know, that is. I guess that is steel. But I don't know if there'd be any kind of attack where you could get through that. Actually, you'd probably just be better off getting through the brass if you're trying to get to the core, or just cut the damn shackle. But I mean, yeah. Somebody wants to go through that trouble, they're probably just going to steal your shit anyway. There ain't really a lot you can do about that. Okay, let's see if we can get our trays in here without going out of frame. There we go. There's my screw. There's that little guy. What do we need here? These got tiny little screws in them. I don't know if this screwdriver, no, that screwdriver definitely ain't going to do it. And we need another screwdriver because we suck at this. Okay. If I can just move this over a little bit, I will be able to use both of my hands without reaching on this thing. You guys are going to have to bear with me on this. I think honestly, before I do my next video though, the fucking overhead camera is going to be a thing. Alright. Oh, by the way, if any of you guys got suggestions for names for the skeleton, my wife and I hadn't named the thing yet. And I feel like he deserves a name, you know? I mean, shit, he's taller than I am. I'm not a little guy by any stretch, but I'm not 7 feet tall either. 1, 2, bam. Okay. To shim or not to shim? That is the question, my friends. I think we should. I would rather shim it and not make a mess. I've taken this thing apart one other time, and I shimmed it that time. So I never did like any progressive pinning or anything with this, but I did take it apart once just to see what was in it for kicks. Okay, we are shimmed. Our core. Okay, this guy out of the way. Okay, so pins for 6, but you got 5 in the core. Those aren't zero. There's no zero lifts in this thing. That was, yeah, I'd wondered about that. I didn't think there was, but that key made me wonder because those are cut so low, you know, down here. Some of those, you know, pin 4 and pin 2 have those deep low cuts. And that high-low bitting on this thing is real tricky. It took me a bit, but I was getting clicks out of 2 and 4, but they were just real light like that, so I was just trying to make sure I wasn't crazy. Well, maybe I am, but not crazy about this, who knows. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think another one why some people think this thing should probably be green is all the regular key pins. You know, there's nothing there as far as, you know, there's no serrations or anything in these. Like if I was gonna improve the security of these, like if you really wanted to, I mean, take those low cuts for one and make them torpedoes, but or even just some serrations in these would definitely make them a little more resistant. Our core, shim out of there. Okay, that's going to be the back. Yeah, we're going this way. I have fucked up before and flipped things around by accident, and I'm not looking to make that mistake before, or make that mistake here. I mean, you know, spool. spool. Every one of these is going to be a spool. Where did that go? Did I just drop a pin? There's a spring. Let me get these springs out of my way. The spring's sticking. Where did that just go? Did I drop? Oh, I'm gonna be so mad if I lost a pin out of this thing. Oh no, it's in there. I thought that was a spring. That's my eyes playing tricks on me. Okay, we're good. That spool at first, it looked like a spring sticking out of that hole. There's number 5. There's our last spring. Nothing crazy, no counter milling, no, nothing in those. Just a good lock though, all around. Like I said, these aren't the cheapest lock you'll buy. I think they run right around $50-ish. But it does seem to be a pretty good quality. It's a fun pick. I enjoyed this thing. 5 spools, 5 standard key pins. That said, I think I've rambled on with you guys long enough, so I'm going to turn off this footage, get it put back together. If you stuck around this long especially, thank you guys for watching. Nothing but love and peace out.